Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 12, written by Scott Lobdell, art by Timothy Green II. Last issue left off with the framing device of Roy telling his captors and apparently Starfire's sister, Commander, which that's a name, the story of how he got captured and a bunch of other secret stuff. And this issue just continues out. He's like, all right, well, where was I? So they had just been attacked, and Starfire's looking all serious, but Arsenal comes in just like, hey, smile, I'll be your friend. And he's like, I recognize you're trying to cheer me up, but, like, there's a lot going on right now, Arsenal. And he's like, right, but you're cute. And she's like, okay, thank you. Like, yep, I'm cheered up. Cool. So then he makes a 50 Shades of Orange joke. I don't know what to make of that. I don't hate it. So at that point, one of the first mates comes up and wants to talk to Starfire as Arsenal goes and talks to the person, like, running the engines. And the first mate's like, hey, Corey, so maybe you shouldn't be hanging out with humans because, like, this is only going to end in disaster for him. And he's like, no. You don't understand, Corey says. I went to Earth because I wanted to be alone, but, like, I met him, and he is literally, like, the sweetest guy. So, hey, it might work out. I'm never going to hurt them. You know, I'm not going to leave, so they're my friends. And at that point, first mate's like, okay, if you say so. So then we go over to Jason, who's talking to his date, who I've already forgotten the name of, and Isabel. And basically, she's just like, so, do you always go to space? And he's like, no, this is new to me. I am a vigilante, though, but, like, street level. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. So, guess we're out here together. And just like, yeah. And then the scene ends. So then we get back to Arsenal, who's talking to the, her name's Kitten. I'll just say Kitten. And she's like, no, seriously, try it. And she's like, that's stupid. Why would that ever work? And he's like, no, you can redirect the engine flow to power up the life bay and blah, blah. It's just showing that Arsenal's super smart, even on alien technology. And she does it, and it works, and everyone's like, wow, great job, Arsenal. But at that point, the Blight attacks, and they literally teleport into the ship because the shields are down. And they fire off a gun that would teleport Corey away, but Roy jumps in the way and gets teleported instead. And that's how he ends up here. And at that point, Commander's like, I'm sorry, hold on, go back. You're sleeping with my sister? And she's like, that's what you took out of that? And it's like, sorry, I didn't think she would demean herself so much. So then the Blight steps up and it's just like, hey, Commander, you are technically our prisoner as well. And we've given you a lot of leeway here, but it seems like you think you're in charge. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, were you able to get any info out of him? Because I was able to get info out of him. I think you kind of suck and you need me. And at that point, Roy's like, oh, yeah, that reminds me. I came here for a reason because I let you capture me. And he tackles Commander, and then they both get teleported out because apparently earlier on when he was in the med bay, he got injected with a tracer so that they always were able to find where he was and could teleport him out. So then they fly their ship, like, right next to the mothership of the Blight, so that way they can't attack them without attacking themselves. And they just chill there for a second. And Starfire talks to her sister. And the sister breaks down and is just like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it. I had to pretend that I was working with them. And Starfire's like, I get it. It's cool. I forgive you. And she's like, but even for all those part where I sold you into slavery? And she's like, yep. I forgive you. We're good. And they have a touching moment. It's just like, okay, but, like, we need to go down and we need to save our planet. God only knows what's going on down there. And then we see what's going on down there, which is the entire race is being used to basically, you know, not seeing an alien where the guy, like, spits up the alien embryo. It's like it's gestating inside of him. That's what they're doing to these other races. And we see the Blight is walking around just like, yes, that's why we're here for all these Tamaranians, but who the hell are you? And we see a literal just human guy whose name is just Colonel, and he's super old, and his wife is next to him, already dead. And they're basically asking him, so why are you here on Tamaran? And the Colonel says, like, all right, well, if you'll not torture me, just let me die, I'll tell you. It's because of the 13. To which point the Blight says, like, the 13? That doesn't exist. And it better not exist, because if it did exist, the Omniverse would be doomed. And then he kills the guy. So we're setting up for future arcs. Be ready for that. Cut back to Jason and Roy who are talking, and Jason's like, Roy, if you're going through a hard time, like, you can talk about it. And he's like, oh, oh, I'm sorry. I had to deal with all of my heroin shit on my own, so I kind of just laugh everything off now. Let's not get serious on the spaceship, okay? Let's not do that right now. So at that point, Corey and I'm going to keep saying Commander, despite the fact that I hate it. They all get locked and loaded. They make their way through Portal, and it's just like, all right, we're going to go do this on our own. And hey, guys, if I die, avenge the hell out of me. And then they go off to free their planet. That's the issue. I like it. I think it's solid. I think it justified the framing device. My only complaint is that everyone, if you were listening to me talk about Teen Titans, you know that I really don't like the way Kid Flash is written, and that he just talks for the sake of talking. And I feel like a lot of this is that, where people are just talking for the sake of talking. And in some cases it's okay because it's character development, but in other cases it's just like that scene between like Isabel and Jason. Like, we had that scene. We already knew that scene. Like, yeah, no, the space adventure. It just felt like for the sake of, hey, we need to show these guys talking for some reason. So yeah, it's that's my only real critique with it. Overall though, I do like this arc. It's turning Corey into a very well-defined character of like how she feels, what she feels her responsibilities are towards her friends, towards her planet, towards her family. Very well written in that regard. Yeah, I really don't have much more to say about it. I'll just rate it honestly, I'll give it like a 7.5. I actually am really enjoying this arc, which is saying a lot considering the rest of this book.